So you see this estate here? Yes, Pinnock Beach Estate. The estate where the likes of Don Jazzy, Techno, Bobrisky, top captains of industry, and the 1% of the 1% so-called live in Lagos. There is a very, very interesting history that you need to know about this estate. And this video is coming off the back of the recent demolitions in Oral Estate in Ikota and the need for you to know more about where you're about to invest. So if you're living in this estate, if you're thinking of buying a property in this estate, or if you're in the surrounding, because what I'm going to talk about this estate affects some of the other estates in that surrounding, then you need to watch this video till the very end. And what we're trying to make you know is when we tell you to do your due diligence, it's not just a cliche, it is a matter of the safety of your investment. So watch at the very end if you want to find out what you need to know about the hidden secret of Pinnock Beach Estate. Now, Pinnock Beach Estate is by a prestigious developer, UPDC, one of the foremost developers. They even have a real estate investment trust that has done well. They have a whole lot of properties around in Festac, in Lekki, in Shangotedo, scattered around Lagos State. And to understand the history of Pinnock Beach Estate, you need to understand the wider history of Osapa, London in the Etiosa region. Now, there was a family called the Ojomu family that owned hundreds and hundreds of acres, possibly running to thousands of acres in the Etiosa region. At some point in time, the Lagos state government revoked every single land in the Etiosa axis. And when that revocation was done, obviously this family called the Ojomu family went to court. But before that revocation was done, there was a transaction. It was a sizable piece of land that was transacted, and another family called the Bamidele Gbadamosi family had purchased over 50 something hectares of land, 254 hectares of land. Now, when that revocation was done and this family went to court, the court gave a judgment and said, okay, I think this land actually still belongs to the family. The government came back again and revoked it. Like, fear government. I think Portable is the one that says you should fear government, and he has a song there. So the family realized that, okay, it's not by going to court or more, now government get power. So they actually went to mediate with the government and say, okay, you've revoked this revoked our land and it's now government land. So it happened for a couple of years. Now, whether this family that bought these 254 hectares from them earlier, before this revocation was done, were part of these peace talks, I do not know about it. But after a while, after some couple of years, the government said, okay, you know what, these initial dwellers of this land, we're going to excise a portion of this land and give you about maybe 80% of what you initially owned, for instance. Yeah. So there was a portion the government still held back, but the government gave it back to them through a process of excision, and it was published in the National Gazette. So this is now their own land. And that's where the problem started, because these people now said, okay, this government has revoked this property and given us back our land. So it's starting from a clean slate. Every prior transactions have been nullified by the revocation. And this family comes to, no, my guy, just you need to honor the transaction that we've had before. And that's where the problem started. And the family actually that bought actually went into try and possess the land, and okay, you guys are trespassing, and it also brought out another court case. Now, the problem is that this court case lasted over 20 years. But in this time when this court case was lasted, obviously you need to maintain status quo. And what is the last status quo? The last status quo is that the government has given these people back their land. So this initial family, the Ojomu family, began selling this land to different developers, and that's where Pinnock Beach Estate comes into the fray, because the Pinnock Beach Estate, which is UPDC, bought the land from the initial family, which is the Ojomu family, and they bought about 70 hectares initially, and kind of bought more as well. And it started with the Pinnock Beach Phase 3. That was actually the first Pinnock Beach, and obviously kind of expanded and expanded. Now, after all these years, these 20 years where this thing was still in court, in and out of court, in 2013, the court gave a ruling. And in that ruling, the court said, okay, return 10 hectares rather, to this family that bought from you, that had 250 something hectares of land. Okay, they accepted that judgment. Only for 8 months later, the lawyer or the counsel to that family came back and said, oh, it was not supposed to be 10 hectares, it was supposed to be 254 hectares. That's where problem actually kind of started. So now the court, which is the Supreme Court, has ruled that actually you guys should give them their 254 hectares of land. It was such a highly politicized case, and it was the whole case between Dele Farotimi and obviously this man, Afe Baba Lola. So Dele Farotimi was the counsel to estates like Pinnock Beach Estate, which is the UPDC, and other estates that are in that area, Arcadia, possibly Friends Colony, Victory Park. There's so many estates in that Osapa region. So now, since the court had ruled that you guys should give them this 254 hectares, the family actually came and told the Lagos state government, and then they told the court, how do you expect us to give them this land back? Because in this time, people have built, government has given approval, government has given even documents, excision, C of O, and there are tens of thousands of houses costing billions of naira that has been built, and also the government has also collected fees, approval fees, documentation fees in all of this time. So that's the impasse. But since the court had ruled, there has to be a way around it. So the way around it is ratification and compensation. Ratification basically is paying for a land again. So let's say, they bought initially from the Ojomu family. They need to come back to this new family, the Badamosi Bandele family, and pay them. And obviously, it will be based on market value, based on negotiation. And I know for Pinnock Beach as well, part of the compensation and part of how they're trying to solve the issue is a reclamation of some parts, which they would also share with the family. So if you're buying property in this axis, especially in Pinnock Beach Estate, you need to really, really do your due diligence to find out that wherever you're buying doesn't fall under any contention. And we're actually doing this for a family that wanted to purchase a property there, and we went into this detail and we were hitting roadblocks, and sometimes the company or the estate will not come and tell you this. They'll just tell you, okay, if he has an approval, because there are different levels of due diligence that it goes through in UPDC. If you have an approval, you're all good, you're all home and dry. But you need to get, first of all, your lawyer to do all of the search, and they need to get the surveyor to find out that the survey of the area, taking the coordinates of that area, don't fall in the midst of any area that is contentious. So you see that buying a property in Lagos is not a walk in the park. And if you don't involve a lawyer, if you don't start with a lawyer in a real estate deal, you possibly end with a lawyer in court. So why don't you just start at the very, very beginning? And so if you're interested in purchasing the property, this is not to scare you. This is just to say, because at the end of the day, when we did our due diligence, we actually realized that it was okay for the client to move on. And you need to quite know by yourself. And if you have a friend that has also done the due diligence, you can ask them. Or if you come and because somebody reached out to me and say, okay, this particular estate, what do you think about it? Have you done due diligence for it? Do I need to pay again a lawyer? Because the lawyer will charge you a percentage of what the property cost. But if you're going to be spending hundreds of millions, possibly billions, you can spare a few millions to actually do your proper search and proper take your proper care, because at the end of the day, had I known is the last comment of a fool, which a popular Nigerian commentator said. So we are working on area packs for different areas in Lagos. If you want to purchase property in an area, what you need to know, but if you also want a custom research on an area and legal report, you can reach out to us. Or if you just want to actually do your due diligence for a particular property, reach out to us. So thank you very much for watching. This is the Ownahome TV show. Here at Ownahome, we believe that owning a home and a property shouldn't make you lose sleep. So we are committed to giving you the very best property recommendations and insider real estate gist. Kindly like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you at the very next video. Bye bye.